Good day to you. God bless and welcome. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch another guy on horseback. When my wife and I first started thinking about doing videos, I was kind of, with all the topics that are out there, I was kind of stumped on what I wanted to start with. And so after some careful consideration, I figured, well, why not do some foundation work? And the start of foundation work is lateral flexion. So that's what we're going to talk about today is lateral flexion. So you've read all the articles, you've been on the interweb, you've seen the videos and everything. Um, Same as me. And a lot of good stuff out there. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel here, but just share with you some of the things that I was taught that's really helped me understand things over the years and frankly, helped me with a 30 plus year career. So, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about what is lateral flexion, how do we get it, things like that. But before we begin, it's always been a thing with me whenever I was given lessons or anything like that. I always, it seemed like I always had to go back and show people the proper way of handling their reins, especially when you start working on lateral flexion, because from day one, we're all taught to go one-handed. Usually our first horse was a trail horse or something like that was broke and trained. And when you start putting a rein in each hand, people started getting lost. So I want to go ahead and take a moment before we actually get into the specifics of lateral flexion on how to properly use your hands when asking. Okay, so it's real simple. Though there are several ways of doing it. The way that I prefer the best is what I'm going to share with you right now, and this will work whether you're in an English rein, a buckle type rein. If you're using a roping rein, a barrel rein, a Makati, a sport rein like I have here, or even a set of crossed split reins. Okay, so it really doesn't matter. The same technique will work. So the first thing that you want to start off with is, where do you hold your reins? Okay. For me, I just like to grab right dead in the center of my reins. And if you have a problem figuring out where that's at, you can always look while you're on the ground, take a little piece of tape, mark off the center of your rein. Okay. And that'll tell you where to hold. Okay. But for me, I always want to hold right dead in the center of my rein. And because I'm going to be working with one hand or the other, and the first thing I always want to do with my rein is lift. Okay, so from the very get-go, I want to make sure that I lift before I reach for a rein. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to ask Jubilee here to move her nose to the right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift my rein up just slightly here, and then I'm going to take my right hand, slide it down the rein, and I'm going to bring my elbow back to my side and close my fist around the rein. Okay, now why am I big about putting my elbow into my side? What that does is that helps you stabilize your hand. Okay, and what I mean by that is it does two things. Number one, if your horse pulls on you, having your elbow locked into your side kind of gives you a little bit of leverage, so they can't really get a good pull on you and just kind of pull your hand forward. Okay, there's a lot of kinetic energy right there. The other thing that it does is, when the horse finally gives to the bit like Jubilee just did, I don't continue to pull back and inadvertently not reward my horse by giving him a release of pressure. Okay, the third thing that it'll do is it will really help to build your feel in your hand. So if you really aren't sure whether or not your horse is given to you, you lock your elbow into your side, pick up on a rein, and as soon as, if you feel any pressure, as soon as that horse gives to you, you're going to feel it in your hand. Okay, so that's going to be key. So I'm going to try this to the left here, pick up on the rein, slide my hand down, bring my elbow into my side. Okay, lock my elbow in, stabilize that hand. Now, there's all sorts of ways of stabilizing your hand. Some people like to reach down and pull their rein to their leg. Bringing my elbows into my side is just something that I learned from my very first mentor. It's a habit I got into and I just never got out of, okay? So this is a really simple concept, and it's, and you'll be switching hands as you go through and you're working on this, just like I'm doing here, okay? So just get comfortable with this. I tell a lot of people that rather than do this while you're sitting on horseback and teach yourself how to do it while you're sitting up here and aggravating your horse, take your reins off of your bridle and maybe take them into the house, and while you're watching television or something, just practice reaching up, locking, picking up, locking, okay? Picking up, locking, okay? Never, ever through any of this will I ever want to see somebody bring their elbow back behind them any further than their side, okay? If you're coming back too far, you need to slide down on your rein just a little bit and choke up on that rein some more, okay? So, and as we get going, you'll see all the little particulars, the ins and outs. That's the great thing about videos is, I may be explaining something, but you may be watching something my hands are doing and noticing little particulars. Maybe stuff that I'm not even thinking about. So pay attention to that type of stuff and see where it might be able to fit your program, okay? So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started on lateral flexion, and hope this helps.